Alright guys, welcome back to Relegation Battle. Before we get into the league action from this week, we'll quickly just go over the World Cup qualifying groups that just happened, the draw for it. So England have been drawn with Poland, Hungary, Albania, Andorra and San Marino. So usual boring group, shall we say. Looking at all of the groups, there's no real standout group, if you want to call it that. They all look quite straightforward for one team, and normally they've got 8 teams, so nothing really to look out for on that front. So let's get into the league football. Only one place to start, really, Northumberland derby. Tom, comfortable victory for you. No real challenge from us from that in that game.
Yep.
I think the only way to take it back is, I think 3 or 4 weeks ago you said you wanted 6 points from 9 in the last 3 games.
Yeah,
You got 7. How are you feeling? Top of the table?
Yeah, great. I said it'll be a test. There's still more to come, but now it's making the fan base believe, all right, there's no doubt in us now. We are a team, we're one of the best teams in the league right now, and we are definitely in the race no matter what. The problem was when we were with Poch, we'd do so great against all these teams that weren't so great, but we'd always win like 1 out of the other 5 big teams. Like that was where we came our downfall with Poch. We'd never step up in the big games, and now we've only dropped points against Chelsea, and that was a draw. So yeah, it's a good start so far.
Yeah, I've been waiting a long time for you to stay in the title race, but you're top of the league right now. You're in the Carabao quarterfinals.
Yeah.
Obviously, still FA Cup to go as well. You're doing well in Europa League, and you are qualified after last week's game. Is this a season you guys win a trophy?
Yeah, I think so, because I thought we would win a trophy anyway this year anyway, but now I never thought we'd win the Prem. I'm still not sure about it, but we're in the race. But I could see us winning. I thought the Europa League at first, which we still could, but I could see us winning the Carabao Cup. We should be in the semi-finals. It depends what draw we get, but either way, I still think even if we got a big team like City, we could easily beat them again. So yeah, I would like to say we'd come away with 1 trophy this year, I reckon, hopefully.
Yeah, and then my last point is, so obviously it's Mourinho style of football. A lot of pundits said, yeah, it's boring, but it gets the results, so the fans shouldn't be too bored by it. How do you feel? Is it boring to watch, but at the same time you're happy because it does almost guarantee results?
Well, that's it. Like, right, Pochettino probably plays the most exciting football out there, like with the Klopp and Pep, right? The thing is with Poch, he had nothing to show for all that great football. It was great football, one of the best I've seen. We had nothing to show for it. It's not like we don't see good football under Mourinho. It's just we're more steady with him. Like I just don't blame him for even though that's his style anyway. I think it suits us because we were so poor at the back like every year, and now we've literally got the best defence in the league. We haven't conceded a goal since that 3-3.
Yeah.
Ty, I don't know why you're smiling. We've got a better defence than you.
Okay.
All right, put it this way, right? 3-3. 2 of the goals, one of them was a screamer and one of them was an own goal. Since that game, we've played Brighton, City, Chelsea, Arsenal. We conceded 1 in them games. I think there might have been another game, but we conceded 1 in that game, and that was the Brighton game. And if you go and see the goal, that shouldn't have even counted. We have not conceded against City, Arsenal, and Chelsea. So you can say what you want. A lot of the goals that to be honest, a lot of the goals we did score previously from previous years used to come from horrific player mistakes, and now we're cutting out them player mistakes, especially getting rid of Sanchez. Now he can't make any. We're being more steady and we're not making the mistakes. So even though it might be boring at times, like people say in the second half of yesterday, why are we not attacking? I don't think that was necessarily his approach. Obviously, we were sitting back,
Yeah, you don't
But the
have to.
fact we
That's the
did,
thing, isn't it?
yeah, exactly. To be fair, I thought Arsenal were pretty good on the ball yesterday in the second half. We just couldn't get it off them. But then, really, does it really matter that much when we're 2-0 up? Because it's very rare they're going to, all right, they might get one against us, but two, I wanted us to kill the game off. But when you're 2-0 up, I really don't mind you doing that. And we're doing that against Arsenal. I know you ain't been great, but you've still got quality. When we played Brighton, we were on the front foot, we were pressing. In them teams, we are still dominating, but it's just when the big teams, we're just changing the styles up. That's all it is. And
Yeah,
it's winning
I
us
mean,
games, so I don't see what the problem is.
exactly. I mean, I agree with you. I think at 2-0, I said, yeah, I expect him to just defend now because that's a comfortable lead, especially for a team that can defend. But we definitely got the other team in the derby, Arsenal, of course. I mean, yesterday's performance wasn't the standout thing. I know we're like 15th right now, but yesterday's performance wasn't a problem for me because for me it's just Mourinho who's won Champions League how many times, Premier League how many times. We're just outclassing a manager who's not even a manager for a year yet. So I wasn't bothered in terms of we've been completely like finished here because I don't think it was like that. But at the same time, you don't want to lose to your rivals in a derby game. But the problem for me was the crosses because how many were there? 44, I think there was altogether.
Yeah.
And it's all right bringing crosses. I'm not like completely against it, but the problem is if no one's going to win them in the middle, what's the point? Because Aubameyang scored like what of all of his career goals, like a small percentage of headers.
Yeah.
Lacazette rarely wins them because he's like 5'9". Bukayo Saka, he's bringing most of Tierney to be fair, but he's not going anything. Willian doesn't get in the box like that. So if you're going to put in crosses, you have to have the right people on the end of them, which is the problem for
Yeah.
me. Because if you looked at Aubameyang like going for the headers, he had one like clear opportunity unmarked, which should have been a bit better from, but still was a bit difficult. But most of them, he went like back first. He almost turned away like a schoolboy, like how I would go for a header if I was like scared of the opponent or something. That's the problem for me. But the way he played in general wasn't too bad. Just Son's goal was amazing. I think we need to say that. To finish was
I
unbelievable.
don't know. It was amazing, but I feel like the goalkeeper's positioning weren't great. I don't know why. I just feel like he was a bit over. But then was he really expecting him to shoot? Probably not. I would say Arsenal probably should have pressured him. He gave him a lot of space to shoot, especially with the
Yeah, I
form
think
he's on.
Holding was just backing off, but
Yeah,
we did give him way too much space. But then again, like I guess you don't really expect him to shoot from there as well. So
no,
it's
you
that
don't.
50-50. Then the second goal, you just can't
Party.
leave two centre backs there. Like I know Partey was meant to be there, like he was meant to like protect them as well, but you can't really walk off the pitch,
Yeah,
even if you're injured like that. Just fall to the ground and ref might blow the whistle, just take that chance. But you can't walk off and then you sort of just knew as soon as he entered the box, yeah, it's a goal with Son and Kane, they're not missing. And it was another good finish to be fair, on the weaker foot. So it's a big problem for us right now. We've got Burnley at home next, so hopefully we can get 3 points in that. But not looking good for us at the moment. We'll go on to United next. Jack came from behind again, but got the result again. The first goal you guys scored, it was a great finish again, POGBA this time. But do you think it went out of play? Yeah.
It went out of play, but
it did.
I mean, even though it did, it was so hard to disallow that goal because it's not like they knew for certain then. Like,
So
if you watch it a few times, you can see, but there's no specific camera angle along the lines that can tell if it's out. It was just like behind the goal and a few others. So it's not like it was against the line. You can see, okay, the line's there, the ball's there. It was literally from a different angle that still looked out, but sometimes from, let's say, offside, they look offside, but then you look at a different camera angle, it's onside. It's all about perception. So I feel like that's a bit also poor from VAR because I heard the commentator say, oh, they don't have the technology to check for that. I mean, I don't know if you've not seen it, but then I watched Match of the Day.
Yeah.
And they pulled out some easy technology, and you could see it was out. And in the game, the linesman, I know he was checking for offside, but wasn't even looking at the ball. He's not just there to give offsides. it's actual fact with VAR. You might as well look at the ball to see if it goes out, because VAR got more hope with the offside than you do, probably. So it was lucky, but again, it was a poor start. They've come from behind again. 5th away game this season.
Yeah, I mean, I guess in hindsight, I could say it was the right decision, but I'm talking about the decision to bench Rashford and Bruno, the two players who came on, really made a difference there. Great goal from Bruno as well. Like, obviously, this next game for you is huge in the Champions League against Leipzig, who just scored 3-3 draw against Bayern as well. Like, obviously, you beat them 5-0 earlier, but I think everyone's forgetting about that now as well, because anything can happen. So do you think it was right to take that risk with Bruno and Rashford on the bench?
I mean, especially Bruno, he plays every game. He had to get a rest somehow, and no Man United fan, especially with 1 point, didn't want him rested against Leipzig. And then we've got City again on the weekend.
Yeah.
So against West Ham, if you said West Ham, Leipzig, City, who do you think you're going to beat? West Ham. So you bench, not even bench, you rest. Obviously, with our passing, our intensity wasn't great. So he had to make the changes, both with Cavani coming off for injury and Van der Beek coming off. So I feel like it was the right decision, because I know it wasn't a full match rest, but it's still an extra 45 minutes that they didn't get.
Yeah.
So wouldn't say it's actually quite. You actually had to give quite credit to Solskjaer to make the changes at half time. He could have said to them, "All right, I'll give you another 10 minutes, see how it is, then I'll make changes." But he goes, "No." I know I said Cavani was injured, so that made it be one, but Van der Beek was fine, and he made us two subs at half time. So you have to give him credit, but again, coming from behind isn't great.
Yeah, like you said, the big game against Leipzig, even big game against City on the weekend. Worst time for Pogba's agent to come out and say his career at United's almost done. I think he said the next winter he'll leave, so I guess that means January, but you never know with this agent. I mean, what do you just make of that? If United have had that problem before with Raiola as well.
I mean, it's happened for the whole of his career at Man United. I mean, it's funny because he played well. He's actually played is one of his first games in a while. He's played quite well with. And I was looking forward, and he comes out the game speaking to MUTV, and then speaks to them ahead of this Leipzig and City game, saying, "Oh, we need to get 3 massive wins. We're 2 massive wins. We're confident as a group." Blah blah. And he comes out and says that. I mean, Pogba since then has only posted some pictures of training on his Instagram, and in my opinion, he should come out and say something himself. But he's never been like that, and don't will. So, in my opinion, if Solskjaer's got some ball, Pogba doesn't play tomorrow.
Yeah,
Pogba doesn't play for the rest of the season, or until January, because if he's saying, and I don't know if you saw the extended quote, he was like, Raiola, his agent was like, Pogba is unhappy at Man United. Those results, he's unhappy at Man United. He cannot express himself as he used to, blah, blah. So if he's not happy, he shouldn't be playing. So let's see with tomorrow's lineup.
Yeah, and yes, I think you only need a draw to progress through to tomorrow because of the head-to-head now, no goal difference. So do you think you can get the result?
I think we can. It's just how we set up, I think. Because going back to what you said, the Leipzig were 5-0, but it was never a 5-0 game. I think we were 1-2-0 up, then they had to press out and they just left gaps open. However, they do have the highly rated centre-back with Meccano out for this game through suspension.
Okay.
So that's kind of a big blow for them. But I understand, I know we can. It's just whether it's how we start, I think, because going back the 5 previous away games in the Prem, we come behind. If we have a poor start against them, they're not going to let us off. They're going to score 2-3 before we've even started playing. So we have to start right.
Yeah, I think you guys are missing Cavani and Martial to injury for that game.
Yeah.
So should be definitely one to watch out for. We're going to Chelsea now. I know you would have loved that big win against Leeds, especially with the Bielsa, Frank Lampard stuff. I mean, correctly, Giroud, Zuma, Pulisic's first goal, coming back from injury as well.
Yeah.
Another Giroud goal. Werner's, obviously, we saw what happened to him. But I don't think there's much you can really say about that. It's just
No.
Something you have to laugh about. But you guys are definitely, I think, it's fair to say, in the race as well right now for the title. I think every Big Six team is apart from us, to be fair. You're in the next round of the Champions League as well after that good win against Sevilla. You got a hat-trick in that, or 4 goals even.
Mm.
How do you think I think I saw a tweet from you as well. Next 5 games, you get 15 points. So, do you want to focus more on this Prem this season or Champions League, would you say?
Well, to be honest, I didn't really expect us to do like much in the Champions League. I think we'll get to the quarterfinals maybe. And obviously, because there's a chance to win the league this season due to Man City not having the best start, even though they're picking it up now. Liverpool having loads of injuries, of course. So, and obviously the next 5 games, like, they are tough, but I think we have got enough to beat them, obviously, seeing as we are unbeaten in like the last 16 games or something since that Tottenham game in the Carabao Cup. But yeah, Werner, like, what I like about him is obviously he's the worst miss of the season, but he didn't like let his head drop or anything. He kept going, and then I believe he got the assist for Pulisic's goal. And I think, to be honest, Leeds played right into our hands. So obviously they took the lead early, and then they kind of just ran themselves into the ground, and then we just used our best players to obviously win the game. And yeah, so I think we should focus on the league more, but I think we've got a big enough squad to be able to rotate and still win matches.
Yeah. Can't remember if it was last week or the week before I asked you about Giroud, because it came out like, there's a lot of speculation about whether him being for the Euro 2020 squad or not.
Yeah.
I think you said, if he needs to move without game time, then yeah, fair enough, he would have to do it. But 5 goals in the last 2 games now, is it worth risking him, those goals?
No. No, this last week he really changed my mind. Like, but I realised like how much he can actually like give more space to players like Mason Mount, Pulisic, Werner, players like that, rather than with Tammy. I think he still needs to work on his link-up play and stuff like that. But whereas Giroud can bring everyone into the play, and obviously when we've got players like Reece James that can cross like he can, obviously Giroud's obviously gonna thrive on that kind of service because he's very good in the air and he loves them near post goals as well. So yeah, I'd keep him till the end of the season.
Yeah, I think definitely is the right choice if Charles choose to do that. So also Liverpool got that big 4-0 win over Wolves. Kelleher has come into the squad now because Alisson got injured again because of a hamstring problem again. But he kept a clean sheet on his Premier League and Champions League debut now. And I believe Liverpool are through in that group. So that's good for them. City won again, beat Fulham this time. And then, like you said, starting to get points again. Crystal Palace won 5-1 against West Brom, if I'm correct.
Yeah.
And Teke got a good game in him. Zaha was back for them as well, which is a big boost
That was
for them.
because of a red card.
Oh, yeah, Pereira, red card. I mean,
which was not a red card.
It did seem like he stamped out a bit.
Yeah, I thought he sort of went to, but then sort of stopped. It's not a red card. That is way harsh. That is not a red card.
I mean, we saw loads of challenges of that. I think it was last season, wasn't it? I think it was Son.
Yeah, that's the difference.
Someone did to did Maguire do it to Zuma? Was it?
Yeah,
The
thing is with theirs, they proper went in
We'll
for it. They proper extended into it. His was like a little twitch sort of thing. They proper went and extended. That's why it's harsh. I don't think it's a red.
Fair enough, but yeah, things aren't looking great for West Brom as well. And Pereira, who was probably the main creator so far this season, he was that last season as well. He's out now, so interesting to see how they do. So yeah, this week was Champions League's final group games of the group stage. The Real Madrid's group is probably the biggest one to look out for because all 4 teams could still make, I believe. Borussia Mönchengladbach in that group are in the best position because if they get a draw against Real Madrid, they go through, and I think Madrid go out as well. Because if Shakhtar get a draw against Inter, then that's them through as well. So Real and Inter both could be out, depending on how that group goes. So definitely want to watch out for. Can't wait if Real Madrid come to Europa and join us. That would be lovely. The United group as well, of course. United, Leipzig, and PSG could all come into Europa group as well. So another one to watch out for. But other news, so Balotelli, I don't know if you guys saw today, he's joined the Italian League 2 side, and he's teammates with Kieran Prince Boateng as well now there. So I'm not sure what they're both doing there, but they are. And the other big talking point was the Millwall game. So I believe Millwall versus Derby County. And while they were doing the knee, they went down 1-0 for the Black Lives Matter, showed their support for it. Millwall fans all booed. I believe it happening at the West Ham United game as well. The West Ham
I was about to say that some of the West Ham fans did it in that game as well.
Exactly, but for some reason that wasn't really talked about, whether it's not because it was on Sky Sports or not, I don't know. But I mean, I should say fair play to the Spurs crowd as well, because I think they actually clapped during when they.
we did.
Yeah, I think a lot of fans did. To be fair, I think Liverpool
Chelsea fans as well.
Yeah.
Liverpool fans, they all clapped. I think they clapped. I don't think they maybe what might have, but I think that Millwall game made them think, what the fuck are they doing? So let's clap. So a lot of teams did do that, to be fair to them.
Yeah.
The thing is, it's not even a surprise with Millwall. Like, I saw it and I wasn't even shocked. Like, that's how bad it is.
Yeah, I mean, I think it was shocking. West Ham used to do it after Millwall did it as well. I thought maybe let's be against Millwall on that one. But I mean, how do you punish teams like that? I mean, QPR, who originally, I think Ferdinand came out and said, oh yeah, we're going to stop it, but they're going to do it in the next game to show support for it. I mean, but how do you punish Millwall now? How do you punish West Ham for this? Is there no crowd for a game? I mean, forfeit a game?
There's no crowd for the rest of the season. But it's going to keep happening. And no matter how many times you tell the Millwall fans don't boo, they're going to boo. So to stop that, you just remove the crowd from Millwall Stadium and West Ham. We'll just see, because especially if it does happen again, I think they play soon. If it definitely does happen again, the crowd's got to go for them. It's totally unacceptable.
Yeah, I think it's just a matter of whether or not the FA actually have the balls to do it or not, because they've been a coward sometimes in these situations and not really stuck up for their employees. We saw Greg Clark not too long ago. He called black people coloured in their meeting, and that got him, he had to resign after that. So there is clearly a lack of respect there for black players. But I think Troy Deeney came out and said if he gets booed, he'll stay on. But if any of him or his players get really abused by the fans, then he will walk off. I think a lot of credit has to go to Wayne Rooney as well. He came out, put his own statement on, which I think would have taken a lot of, not balls to do, but it's good of him to do, because he has a large fan base. Some who would have been against him doing it, but he would have maybe taught a lot of kids, like, oh yeah, this does matter, which I think is the whole point of it. Because before it happened, I saw Harry Kane in an interview. He was asked, do you think it's still important that we do this action? Because a lot of people said, it's just becoming repetitive now and no use. But he came out and said, no, it is important, because there might be a kid who's watching football for the first time. He sees all the players take a knee, and he might ask his parents, why are they doing this? The parents explain to them, and that's the new way of almost educating them, saying this is the problem in society. So I think the FA just need to step up, man. They need to do something about it now, crack down on it now, because you would have thought it would have got better, but clearly not the case, unfortunately. But yeah, that is all. I don't know if I've got anything you guys want to talk about, but that is all I have this week. So Manchester Derby coming up, big game for United and City, both to get a good win over each other, especially after the way those games went last season. Ole getting some good wins. But yeah, that's all for this week. Have a nice.
I think it's time to talk. I think it's time we